today, you know what? I want to know, are you living on purpose and in purpose?
My favorite phrase of hers, guys. I love it.
Yeah, because purpose. People like they ask the question, "Am I living on purpose?" Or they suffer with thinking they're not living on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But purpose is more than your job, and I think that's where we get kind of caught up. Sometimes it's like, "Oh, I'm not in the right job, so I'm not living my purpose." But that's not 100% true. It's purpose is really what were you created to do? What is it, and are you being intentional about how you're living your life? Are you living a purposeful life, intentional life? And so, even I've seen in my work with Black women is that sometimes they're questioning, am I living on purpose because they don't have the job or things just don't feel right.
Okay.
And so that could be, you could probably think I'm out of alignment. But sometimes your purpose is just you being able to show up and serve in a capacity because a lot of times we're looking for fulfillment, which purpose does bring fulfillment,
Okay.
but at times, just because you're not fulfilled does not mean you're not in purpose. Because what that happens is you're thinking it's supposed to be something else, and you take the significance out of it. That's what happens. Because I remember I was talking about purpose one time, and I asked my mom. I said, Mom, what do you think your purpose was? And she said, my purpose was to be a mother.
Wow.
And it shows up surely in how she presents to others because so many people call her mama.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a mama.
Yeah.
But she had a career, so so she thought, in her career, she was like, I was in purpose in my career when I worked for the school board, when I worked in my Harry, I was doing purposeful things, but my true purpose in life was to be a mother. And so it shows up that way. And if we look at like since the pandemic and that whole great resignation
Yes.
phase where people were leaving their jobs to either start their own business or find a job that meant like contentment for them. And we see it every day in the news. We hear people talk about it. And hear people talk about how they left 6 figures to go do something. People like, how could you give up your 6-figure job to start this or to do something of more service? It's like I felt that was my that I wanted to align with my purpose.
So let me ask you this, because this might be a little interview of Dr. Dangerfield, everybody. But, one thing I often run into when I'm doing therapy with clients is that this idea and concept of 2 things. I guess I have 2 questions. One is, are passion and purpose the same? Because people struggle with that, wanting them to be the same thing. And then is purpose always an intangible thing, right? Because when we think we're in purpose, we want to see the manifestation of that purpose. So it's something we can touch. But is it maybe not something that is tangible? Is it something more that we feel, that we experience? Is it this more existential type of thing for us versus this, oh, I'm living in purpose and I was able to go get that car I want, like these particular things. So those are the 2 things I often run into with people. Like, are you looking for, does your purpose equal tangible or is it feeling? And I'm like, also, well, what passion and purpose doesn't mean that these are these 2 interchangeable things. No. That's not an accurate thing. So do you run across that a lot when you're working with people for that?
Yeah, I hear it a lot, but I think Bishop Jakes said it best. He said, if you follow your passion, you'll find your purpose. And I think we can be passionate about a lot of things. Passion is like emotion.
Right.
That thing that sometimes that you're so passionate about that you're chasing after it, and it can be it's like an emotion. A lot of times people are like, I'm passionate about this, so that has to be my purpose. But sometimes it doesn't line up, and it's like, oh, I can be passionate about buying 3,000 pair of shoes. That can be my thing about, like, I can be passionate about shoes, but being a shoe buyer, is that my purpose?
Right. Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
But purpose too is, like I said, it's what you were created to do. What you where you really can take your passion, your strengths, your natural talents and abilities, your life experiences, and all of that balled up into I want to say into a big ball, but
balled up into
a big ball.
A big ball.
That's what it is.
She's profound, folks. Tell you that.
That's really what it is. It's you roll all that up into, and it's like you're living a life that seems in alignment with flow, with ease, and you're enjoying what you do. So I could say I believe I'm in purpose, but at times I question, am I in true alignment? Because sometimes it feels like when you go to take your car to get an alignment,
right?
And there's some times you know your car needs an alignment. You like, it's dragging straight on over here to the left when I'm on the interstate.
Yeah.
But then there's sometimes you take your car in for some maintenance and they say, oh, let me put you back in alignment, but you didn't feel anything off. But it was slightly out of alignment from the manufacturer's standards. So that's what purpose is for us. We were created because, well, you and I, we believe in God, and we believe that He's our creator. He created us for a specific purpose in the world, in the earth. So being able to take all of our life experiences and the passions, some of the things we're passionate about, some of our strengths and our spiritual gifts, and putting it all together will lead us on a path of purpose. Because I don't think purpose is linear. I think it is
right.
It flows. Because some days I'm like, am I in purpose? I don't know.
So dig this.
Dig.
Okay.
Listen.
So I was listening to a minister, and he described it like this, which gave me a different perspective on purpose and passion. Right. So he said, purpose. So the purpose of your job could be to bring in the income you need to do your passion.
As an investment into your passion.
Yes. So say your your passion could be the thing you're hustling to make eventually your long-term thing, but your purpose is that 9 to 5 that is funding that particular thing. So he's like, so sometimes he was like, people get confused, like, oh, am I living in purpose? But what your purpose is in that moment might be getting you to this passion, right? My passion is serving inter-community kids, and I really want to do that, but I have to work I'm from Detroit, so y'all know I want to work at GM or Ford or Chrysler to get me to that place that I'm able to do my passion. But I do believe Jake's where he says, like, if you follow that, then you eventually get into your purpose.
Yeah.
But, so eventually your passion is working with these kids, and maybe the purpose is that you open up a foundation or a Boys and Girls Club or whatever.
And it doesn't have to look a certain way. And I think that's where people get caught up sometimes. They think it's supposed to look a specific way, but you could be living your purpose and it doesn't look like what you think it's supposed to. So in using your example, when you say I want to help work with inner city kids. Okay, you may do something on the weekend where you may go and support a basketball league.
Yeah.
You're still being purposeful. It's intentional, it's purposeful. But in your mind, it may be saying, no, it's not until I own this foundation that I'm actually living in purpose.
Exactly. But the thing I always try to get my clients to understand is like, if you can do your passion, which is amazing, and you have to survive in that purpose for what it is right now. Like, you can't quit that job to go try to live out that passion, and you got the bills due, boo. Like, you have to understand that right now your purpose is working at Chrysler, doing what you have to do to fund or to get you into the space where you're able to do that thing that you desire to do. Well, often I find people getting lost in is like, I'm not in purpose, I'm so miserable, I'm so miserable. I'm like, okay, you're so miserable because you're focusing on, and I'm not in purpose in this
On
thing, this season.
It's that what you don't have.
Yes, like this is a season. But if you are getting the opportunity to work towards writing that book, opening that practice,
because those experiences lead you to it.
And I'm like, I think we get lost in this, the humdrum of that, I'm stagnant, or I'm not doing something, or the minutia of the day-to-day. But I'm like, that day-to-day right now is your purpose, because if you ain't doing it, you ain't got no job, and you can't pay your bills, and because you ain't got no money.
Yeah. But what as you're talking about that, let's think about this. Is a lot of people they've gotten caught up in social media, and they see this life.
Now that's a word.
And they're like, this is what my putpurpose looks like. People will have you thinking that this is what, like, I'm living my life on purpose because they get to travel. They get, not, putting you down. I get to travel. I get to do this. I get to do that. And they're like, oh, they're living on purpose. I don't have it, so evidently I'm not.
I'm doing something wrong.
Which is not
Which is not true. And trying to reel people back from that is not an easy task because they get lost in, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not, valuable enough, I'm doing something wrong, I'm not living the way I'm supposed to be living, why me, why not me, all of those things. And trying to get them to understand that it doesn't have to be an or, it can be an and.
Yes.
I always tell my clients all the time, live in the and, not the or.
People forget that you can have a but and an and, or an and or all of it together.
Yes.
People forget that. Yeah, forget it so many times.
Right. And
I've been guilty of it.
Yes, and it brings about anxiety, it brings about depression, it brings about, people who, things that they used to enjoy to do, they're not doing, or you overwork yourself to this place.
Trying to get to a point of trying to reach
purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a race, it's a journey.
It's a journey, yes.
I saw all the time to clients, that's Diddy, how many times he had to fail before he made it.
And he is still going after his purpose. Because because one thing, we have to be willing to pivot.
Exactly.
That's something that I think, and people see pivoting as failure, but pivoting is part of the process.
Exactly.
And being able to get you to the point to where you are headed. So I always go back to really clearly defining your why. And your why can look different in different seasons, but clearly defining why you're doing what you're doing and why you're here on earth. And as a believer, mine is always going back to the Creator, because the Creator knows exactly what He purposed to create us for. Because even for me, I never would have thought that. I know my purpose is to empower people to live their best life. I know that. What it looks like, it shifts and changes. Quite often, I never would have thought I would have been a therapist doing that.
Yeah.
I was helping people to live their best life in other ways in my previous career. So if I had given up on that, and when the shift made for me to come into the mental health profession, I would have been like, I ain't living my life on purpose. I need to. But it's really about being intentional.
Yeah.
About showing up most definitely in who you are. Because purpose starts with identity. And identity is really what we work to know who we are. Because if we know who we are, we most definitely can discover what we were created to do. Because I have a saying that says, when identity and purpose collide, impact happens. And so asking yourself, what type of impact do I want to have in the earth? Matters. Yeah.
And I think one thing is, for me, I get completely lost in this aspect of, what do I want to do now? Like, I'm an accomplished kind of girl, right? Ooh, did that, accomplished it. Where am I going to do now? I laugh all the time because I constantly am like,
what is my now?
Where's my next? Yeah, and I think sometimes I feel like there's this responsibility I have to stick out something to stay in something, to continuously do something. And if you feel me, put a little, like on the thing, right? Like, right. I have to stick this out. And part of that is, generational stuff. I'm kind of caught between this millennial generation who's like, they don't care, like, do, keep it changing. And the old school who are kind of like, you find something and you stick with it
until you retire.
Exactly. And it's like, I get caught between like, oh, okay, great, this is what I'm doing now, I love it, but I feel like there's something more I should be doing or want to do. I don't know if it's even should be doing. I think that's a pressure I put on myself as a Black woman. Like,
we're gonna
should be doing something.
as Black women, let me put this
lean in, you gotta lean into the camera, like
take should out of your vocabulary. Yeah. Should will kill you. Okay?
Yes, it is. So it's not that I should, but like I want to do something else now. I feel like there's something more exciting that I want to be, maybe not even exciting, just to do. I don't think that there's one gift put in us. I think there's so many gifts put in us, and we can tap into all of those gifts
across our journey.
Exactly. If you can get people to enjoy the journey,
that's it. Enjoy the journey, because life is a journey. And sometimes I tell my clients, because they're like, "Oh, I want to get to the." I'm like, "You don't want to get to the end of this journey yet, because you know what the end of this journey means. If you get to the end of the journey, it's been nice knowing you." I'll tell you, I'm like,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. You have completed. Yeah. You've completed the course, so it's like, so let's enjoy life as it is. Take every day. As it comes, it's good, bad, and we all have to just walk out our purpose and walk out our journey and what that may look like.
Yeah, and like, don't let us fool you. We sit here as two women trying to always figure out our journey, our purpose. What are we doing? And we celebrate the, accomplishments, and we celebrate the obstacles that we complete. But we still will call each other like, girl,
I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing in this season.
Exactly. So you're not alone. Don't think that you're just this isolated person because what everybody's doing on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat.
Y'all know that's curated content.
Exactly. I'm going to show you what I want to show you. Because me and Lucretia would not have jobs if everybody was doing okay.
No, we would not.
Everybody is not, so regardless of what they present, everybody is not doing okay. So we challenge you to not feel isolated in that, but to reach out to people to find support and to talk about it's okay if your now has changed. It's okay.
It is most definitely okay.
Yes, life is fluid. Live like that. Like you said, I don't think it's this straight line type of thing.
If it was, it would be so much easier, but it would be boring.
So, I mean, my hope for you all as you're trying to figure out what your purpose is that you experience the journey till its fullest. Appreciate every hurdle, appreciate every accomplishment, appreciate every stumble. It is worthwhile in getting to that place. And the other thing I want you to know is that passion and purpose can live in, this is it. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to wrap it with this. Live in the and not the or. Like,
that's it.
That's
she
it.
Said it.
I don't have a live in the and. Stop oring yourself to death. Literally to death. Live in the and. I can have this and this. That. I can do this and that. Like, and stop limiting your vision and who you are and what you want to accomplish. I speak to you as I speak to myself, okay?
So we're going to check with her later to see if she's living in the and.
Y'all going to come check on me in my comment section. Make sure I'm living in the and.
Dr. Patience.
My clients will be like, she says that all the time to me.
Yes. So make sure, as we say, live your life on purpose and in purpose.
And if you need help finding that, you always can look on any, Psychology Today, but Therapy for Black Girls, all the things that's available to you to find some form of therapist who can help you through that process.
Yes.
Don't sit in depression and anxiety and, isolation all by yourself trying to figure it out. There is always somebody there who can help you get whatever it is that you need to be okay.
Yes.
Just to be okay. It's okay to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
And it's okay not to be okay. Even better word. Yes. Well, as always, it's such a pleasure to engage with you all. We hope that you like our page. You can find us on Instagram. This is her quiz, everybody. Lucretia, Dr. Dangerfield, where can they find us on Instagram?
at I Am Brown Girl Banter.
Look at her, guys. She got it right. And where can they find you, Dr. Dangerfield?
They can find me on Instagram at I Am Dr. Dangerfield.
Awesome. And last quiz, where can they find us on YouTube?
Brown Girl, one word, banter.
And if you want to follow me on Instagram, please follow me at I Am Dr. Patience. Again, share, like, comment. We want to hear from you. We want other people to hear us. So please share with family and friends, and always, get caught up. We always tell you, go back, look at old sessions or videos. I'm a therapist, sessions, and get caught up. As always, keep bantering. We love y'all. We're so glad to be back, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye, Brown Girl Banter.